What is going on, guys? It is your boy TKD 1D here, back again with another video. Of course, I have my luxurious co-host with me today. How you doing, sir?
I'm well, thanks.
That is, of course, the Starks. How you doing, my good sir? How you doing? Everything's okay?
How about you? Yeah, it's hot here.
It's hot?
In Canada.
That's cute. Here in Phoenix, Arizona, it's 108.
Oh my.
And like 110. Yeah. So
that's crazy.
I don't know about you can see. This time we're gonna work this out, okay? Whenever it's hot on your deck of the woods, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't complain about heat. Like I like I can't complain about cold because I'm sure it's a lot more cold for you, sir, in old Canada. Am I correct?
I wish it were colder because it's pretty warm.
I mean, like, you know, I mean, it's you know, but that is not the topic at hand. We are not a weather show. We are a show about The Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2 called Road to Part 2. Happens every week on the channel on Wednesdays. It's a little podcast type video series to go over anything in all Last of Us, you know, the original or Part 2. Also, to keep in mind here, there was a quick announcement that we did on this week's Crosstalker. Let's go check out that Crosstalker episode for number 42, where we went over our game of the years, you know, for the halfway point of 2019. We did announce that we are now live on all podcast services, or probably not all of them, but all major ones: Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Spotify, etc. There is a link down below in the description of this video to find our Anchor link, where you can find different links to different services that we are on. Just search PlayStation Source podcast feed, and you'll be able to find this show as well as Cross Circle weekly in audio format for you podcast lovers. So if you guys are interested in doing that, you can do that with your podcast services and be able to hear our voices, you know, in the car while you're doing homework, perhaps mowing the lawn, you know, etc. I don't know. Maybe you're grinding a game like I've been doing for the past few weeks, Borderlands. Perhaps, you know, you can easily pop on one of our podcasts and enjoy, you know. So that's just what it is here. But the main topic at hand here, okay, of course, Last of Us Part 2. There was a trailer. Well, let's just go over it. There have been 3 trailers, right? So there's been the reveal trailer.
Yeah, in 2016.
Yep, there was the one in question that we're gonna be talking about at the Paris Games Week. Yep, which I believe is 2017, and then E3 2018, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna focus on the Paris Games Week trailer from 2017. We have a unnamed woman that is kind of starring in this trailer, right? So this trailer, she's being drugged, not like drugged, but dragged, you know, across the dirt and everything, and is presumably going to end up being killed, you know, by the Sephiroths, which we'll talk a little bit more in a later episode. But apparently there was some beef with this unnamed character that right now is unnamed, but we can talk about the name obviously later on in the video. But you know, she almost dies, and then these 2 other characters that I'm sure we'll probably talk about later on, Yara and Lev, they help rescue her, and then they all fight some clickers at the end of the trailer and stuff like that. Very, very, very brutal, you know, trailer. What'd you think of the trailer? Because this was really our first glimpse at like how violent this game is going to be. We got a lot more of it, you know, at E3 2018. But how did you feel when you first watched this trailer, if you remember?
I remember that day very well. It was the day in which it was my last year of high school, first semester though, last year, and I opened up YouTube. It was lunchtime. I was like, oh my god, am I seeing what I'm seeing right now? And it was just a bundle of emotions, and then I finally watched it, and I was in tears because I loved Last of Us, and it shocked me based on, like, a lot of people complained about the violence, and you know, I don't really have anything to complain about. It was a great trailer. I think it opened up a lot of questions. Definitely.
I did forget that there was a lot of backlash towards Naughty Dog about it. Yeah,
I don't understand why.
How it was ultra violent. Yeah, no, I mean, oh man, yeah, I forgot about that backlash. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was a big deal for like the week there that it came out, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, I forgot about that. But like me mainly, I was just shocked at the violence, obviously, you know. It wasn't like in a bad way. I thoroughly enjoyed, you know, that trailer and everything. But another thing is the different characters that we got to see. And I was just curious as to how this will be tying in to part 2, and it has been said publicly by Neil Druckmann that the game will be kind of bouncing off between 2 different storylines, right? We don't know the nature of these storylines as far as I'm aware. Like, I don't know if one takes place in the present and the past.
Right, that's what he mentions as well. Present and past, or
is that what it is?
Present and past. Well, no, I'm pretty sure Neil Druckmann sometime in an interview mentioned how there's going to be 2 different like timelines, present and past, like how they did in the first one.
Okay, so present and past. Well, it's honestly, if you think about it, it's similar to Uncharted 4 in a way. You know, like obviously the younger thread of that game. To just keep completely spoiler free if I can. I guess I don't know if the spoiler, I guess, but it's not the most important thing, but it just supports the main line. That's what.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it really doesn't even seem like. Yeah, so I guess maybe in theory, since Neil Druckmann obviously was the director of Uncharted 4, perhaps that's what he's going for, maybe with Last of Us, like to have that like second plot line, not be so bold that it kind of overrides or messes up the main line, but supplements it, like
kind of supports.
Yeah. I think
I love that kind of storytelling. However, the topic,
indeed, the main actress or person here that we're talking about is this unnamed. Well, yeah, it is Laura Bailey's character, right? She has not been named yet. It was officially announced that she was a part of the game shortly after, I believe, this Paris Games 2 trailer came out. Neil Druckmann has some tweets, and I have this tweet here on screen right now that shows Neil Druckmann saying that Laura Bailey in Last of Us Part 2 is just a 4-letter name. Yeah, it's 4 squares. Yeah. And
as we all know, in the first game, or at least if you've played it, Ellie's mom is named Anna, which I mean you can spell your name with one N, but typically people who, anyways, Ellie's basically the question is, do we think that the woman in the trailer is Ellie's mom? I don't know if you want me to start first.
Yeah, I have some specific citations that kind of, well, not necessarily prove it, but point in the same direction. But if you want to take the floor, you may proceed,
please.
Sir. You may proceed.
So, what's interesting, because you did make a video about it, right?
I did. Yeah, I did.
I saw that in the Google search, but
yeah, I did.
I 100% believe that this could be Ellie's mom, but I don't know for certainty. I mean, not a lot of people do, despite the theories and speculation. But I want to say I think this is Ellie's mom, and the reason is because I don't think Naughty Dog would show something so just random characters and because it was a weird trailer, right? Because we literally don't know who these characters are. We've only seen them once, which was in that trailer, I believe.
Yeah.
Except for the Seraphites, who we see later on in the 2018 demo.
Everyone in that trailer at the time of release was brand new. We have no idea who they are, no idea where they came from. We're never in Last of Us 1, etc. At least as far as we're aware. Wasn't the Last of Us 1. I'm pretty sure. But
yeah. So I definitely think that this character has some kind of meaning, as well as I'm just going to briefly mention it, is the emphasis on weapons in the game. I've noticed that since the first branding, I suppose, since we first saw The Last of Us, that there's been so many stresses on things like a machete, a hammer, the stuff that the Seraphites hold. I just wanted to briefly mention that because I also saw a video earlier. I didn't watch it, but they'd mentioned how there's been significant like emphasis on that symbol and just weapons and melee weapons in general. So I found that interesting. But I do think this is Ellie's mom, because I don't think they would show, like, I know it's kind of like, well, we don't know if it's Ellie's mom. If it's Ellie's mom, it could be Ellie's mom. But based off of her physique, or sorry, just the way she looks, she could totally be Ellie's mom. And the reason I say that is because I think Ellie's mom was a part of I'm probably going to get this wrong, but Fireflies or associated to them, or the military, one of the two. I don't know.
Here's what I'm going to do. I think this will be helpful for us. I'm going to read directly off of the Last of Us wiki involving Anna, which is officially Ellie's mom.
Okay.
Right. I think
All right.
that's.
Makes sense.
I think that's a good place to go. So she was. Let's see. Hold on. She was. Okay. Here we go. So here's the background of Anna, right? Which is Ellie's mom. We know from Last of Us 1, right? Which could be the lady in the Paris Games trailer that we're talking about here today. Before the outbreak, Anna worked as a nurse and at some point became good friends with Marlene. Of course, Marlene in Last of Us 1, prominent character, Although they fought a lot due to Anna's stubbornness, they were close. After the outbreak, she became pregnant, and sometime between January and April in 2019, she gave birth to her daughter, who she named Ellie. She died within a day of giving birth to her, but she had the time to write Ellie a letter. Before Anna died, Marlene promised to look after Ellie in her absence. She would keep her promise despite her position as leader of the Fireflies. After that, Marlene took care of Ellie for a while, but eventually put her in a military boarding school. And so I believe that's it. I know later on in this thing here, let's see. So let's just, you know what? I'm gonna just finish reading this. It's only like a little bit left. When Ellie was,
there's one thing.
Yeah. When Ellie was finally brought to Salt Lake City to reverse engineer a cordyceps brain infection vaccine, Marlene grudgingly gave the doctors the go-ahead to perform the surgery on Ellie. Knowing the operation will kill her friend's daughter, Marlene speaks to Anna and promises her that Ellie will be with her soon. Ellie catches Anna's letter with her in her backpack along with her mother's switchblade. As seen in the winter chapter, at the end of the note, it is signed, "Make me proud, Ellie," and Ellie can be heard saying, "I'm trying to make you proud." Right, so those are just some connections there. But the main, well, do you have anything to say before I go into?
So I do a little bit, and the thing is, because this is like just weird, because it's like, I wonder if Marlene this could totally be Ellie's mom, and I hope it will, because it allows for some deep storytelling. But then a part of me doesn't think it is, because from what we know as players and from what Marlene knows and everyone else, even Ellie, she's dead. So, and I don't know how I guess specific it gets with her death. I'm pretty sure it was just after she was born, or when she gave birth to Ellie, she just died based off of natural cause of death when you're getting birth. But the thing that I mentioned earlier about the emphasis on weapons could tie back to this, because Ellie's mom carries a switchblade which she passes along to Ellie, and now in this Paris Games Week trailer, which I don't think is in the past, I think this is definitely the present or possibly future, one of the two. This mysterious woman who I think is Ellie's mom is holding a hammer. So it's obviously clear that this person tends to grip towards some kind of I don't know, just some kind of weapon that's not your typical like gun or bow or something. So this could definitely be a parallel or some kind of reference to Ellie's mom, or some kind of association to Ellie's mom. Oh, maybe it could be Ellie's sister, who knows.
Now and then also to
doubtful.
Also to take note about the switchblade, a little Easter egg that's in the original Last of Us. So the main menu has that windowsill, that light coming through it, that like main menu for Last of Us, right? And when you beat the game, the switchblade appears on the windowsill. It does not appear before you beat the game.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that could be little, breadcrumbs that Naughty Dog is trying to tell us that, there is something of significance with Ellie's mom's switchblade, right? And then I think that you were already bringing up, but I kind of want to lay out, right? So Outbreak Day is September 29th, 2013, right? So I forgot which 2 years it was, but nonetheless, both images will be on screen whenever they release. It doesn't matter, right? So the first one, well, they both have similar type of formats and what they're showing in the posters, right? It's a arm that is like stretched with the baby skin side out, right? And they're holding they're holding different things, right? So the first one is a arm that is Ellie's arm based off her tattoos that we know of that she has in part 2, and she's holding her mom's switchblade, right? And it's like blue and it's like flowery and stuff like that. And then the one that was released after that, or I forgot if it was vice versa or whatever, how they released, but the other one is of a bloodied arm, and it's all red and fiery in the background. It's in the woods, similar to where we have the Paris Games Week trailer. And then she's holding a hammer, right? Which indicates that, okay, that must be pointing to the woman in the Paris Games Week trailer, right? If we're gonna go off of like how she used a hammer in that trailer as well, and then the scene with a hammer, you know, in the poster and everything. So I feel like they're already coupling the two. And if we know for sure that like Ellie is the first one because the tattoos, you know, with the blade, it's Ellie, right? Right. So it seems like they're already pairing these two to be connected in some form or fashion. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But no, go ahead.
So what's interesting is now, you know how I said the Paris Games Week trailer might have been present or future? I'm kind of having second thoughts, and a lot of people have you know, I guess speculated that that Paris Game Week trailer or gameplay or sorry, not gameplay, trailer was probably in the past, and this woman was pregnant. And the reason, so this could probably, you know, the American Dreams, it was this comic that Neil Druckmann did with another person, and based off of what I'm seeing in the American Dreams, there's like a photo of Ellie's mom. She's pregnant and she's holding a revolver. She has long hair, and she, you know, she looks like she looks like she'll take down any person she can if they go against her. But so this could possibly, the Paris Games Week trailer could definitely have been in the past. It's just my issue is I don't, and I think I mentioned this to you in previous episodes, is I just don't believe that this Seraphites group would have lasted all this long. And I just don't think that makes any sense. They have the same traditions for the last, I don't know, 14, 19 years. That's insane.
Right.
If they actually, to me, that just sounds so unrealistic. I mean, it could definitely be the case, but based off of from what we've seen in the Paris Games Week to what we've seen in the 2018 gameplay demo, it's like that Seraphite group seems like a very, you know, organized group. But it's like for them to have the same tradition of you are nested with sin and breathe in and then cut your belly open, that just seems a little, I don't know, weird that they would have the same tradition throughout all those years and not be run over by, I don't know, the government or the Fireflies or bandits and other factions. I just don't see that being the case. But it totally could be a flashback of Ellie's, because again, Neil Druckmann has said when it takes place that it could definitely be a flashback, right, of Ellie's mom and how, you know, how maybe Ellie's mom was bit and that's how Ellie got immune, right?
Yeah. So that is a big thing to discuss, right? So I mean, I am on the side of that. The Paris Games Week trailer does take place in the past, right? And there's a few things I want to cite that is why I believe so, right? This is going to get incredibly nerdy and incredibly in-depth and incredibly extra, but I think this is the breakdown of how this is going to be in the past, right? So for one, your stance on the Sephites, I think the Sephites could have easily you know, been still around even with the events of Last of Us 1, right? So, you know, the United States is a big place, right? I know that sounds like a cop-out answer, but it could very much indeed be they were always there and stuff like that. Or another one could be that maybe the Fireflies are a branch that came out of the Sephites, right? Like, who's to say maybe they aren't from the same origin, right? So that's how I would put, you know, the Sephites being here all this time, you know, even with the Fireflies being like the big, you know, bad of Last of Us 1, right?
Pardon me. Also, sorry, not to cut you off, just really quickly. In the gameplay demo, there was also a person, a female, who kind of looked like a religious figure or some kind of like, and it was like a little poster and it said, "May she guide you." And the Fireflies has some kind of similar motto where it's like, "May the light, you know, guide you or find you," or whatever the fire. So you're right, it could definitely be something that stemmed off of each other based on the Fireflies and the Seraphites. But continue.
Yeah. And then, so to a big contention is, all right, like how far along back is this, right? So indicating in the trailer that the Sephites want to slice the unnamed, aka Anna. I think we'll just call her Anna for just video sake, even though it's not technically confirmed. But we both think it's Anna. We're just going to call her Anna from here on out. Again, it's not confirmed. This is still a debate. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, Anna was going to get her stomach slit open, right? And she looks and appears to have a slight bulge, which would indicate that she perhaps is pregnant. You know, that's what I would think, right? That, you know, why would they cut her stomach? You know, I just feel like that was a deliberate, you know, attempt to murder a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just that's what I'm presuming, right? So, you know, we can say that she's pregnant, right? When, I'm not sure, but what I was mainly pointing to, and then obviously this kind of falls apart because it's not like everyone in this world got infected at the same time. Like people are still getting infected, you know, even past the 2013 main outbreak, right? But wait, actually, there's no point to this. What I'm about to say. I was about to go on this whole epilogue about how there was a clicker that ran at them, and according to the wiki, clickers take roughly a year to infect, and so that would give it time, you know, to be infected during the world, but it doesn't matter because it's not like everyone got infected at the same time.
Right, that's true.
So the timeline of the clicker doesn't matter. An interesting theory. Yeah, but I just feel like it would make sense in the timeline's sake as well for you know, this for her to be already showing to be pregnant, right? And I believe The Last of Us 1 takes place in 2033, if I remember correctly. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, that's insane. I actually thought it was 20. Yeah, so I have a picture here, and it says 2013 outbreak, Ellie not yet born. 2018 flashback, Ellie is weeks old fetus. 2019 is the year in which Ellie is born. 2033 to 2034, The Last of Us 1, Ellie is 14 years of age. 2038, The Last of Us Part 2, Ellie is 19 years of age, which means in reality Ellie would be a lot more older than me, which sucks because I had a crush on Ellie when I was younger. But anyways, yeah, so that's the timeline. I sent you the photo, by the way, if you wanted to include it in the video.
Yeah. I will have that here on screen, yeah, for sure. But I just feel like, you know, but then there's something to also to bring up, is that does Naughty Dog want us to know that this character is potentially Ellie's mom, right? It seems a bit too on the nose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
Like,
it seems a little too purposeful. Like,
yeah, with them with the Outbreak Day posters, and then them with the tweet about the 4 letters, it seems a bit too much on the nose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know?
You're right.
And how the timeline matches up with her showing that she's pregnant in 2018, and then she gives birth to her presumably between January and April of 2019. So it just seems like it all syncs up a little bit too hard. But what do you think, or who do you think this character is if it's not Anna? Like, if it's not Ellie's mom, like if we're all wrong, right?
Well, I just came across an idea. So I'll answer your question first. So who do you think it could be if it's not Ellie's mom? 1, a random person, which doesn't seem likely. 2, somebody related to Ellie but not her mother. And 3, probably no one else but just her mother. And the reason I say that is because, and I think this definitely could be her mom, is what do you like? We still, there's a word in which the Seraphites, which could very well be a part of the Fireflies, call Ellie, and that is wolf. Yeah. And from my understanding, this person here in this trailer, she's a lone wolf. So perhaps they named, so maybe there's some kind of moment in which this person, who I think is definitely Ellie's mom, gets named that somehow, and then obviously that translates to Ellie's name, and then maybe somebody recognizes her. I know that seems a little too unlikely, but I mean, that's definitely something that could happen, because I'm still trying to figure out why they call her Wolf, which
yeah, that's a whole thing.
But I don't know who it could be. I think it's definitely Ellie's mother, because it just wouldn't, like, why would Naughty Dog randomly show, you know what I mean?
I mean, take a stroll with me, will you? Take a journey sure. down a hypothetical line here, right?
All right.
What if this woman is a part of Joel's past? What if Joel?
Tess? No, I'm joking.
You know, because look, right? Because like we don't know a lot about what Joel and Tess were up to in 20 years of Last of Us, right?
Wait, 4-letter word. Wait. Wait a second.
There's no way it's Tess, dude. Tess looks completely different.
I know, but like, I mean, that could. I mean, maybe they just decided to fix up the model. I don't know.
I mean, just picture this, right?
Yeah.
You know, Joel is really quick to say that quick to tell Ellie in Last of Us multiple times, like, you'll know what I've been through. You'll know what I've done. I don't know, right? And like, yes, you know, that sounds very cliche, right? But what if, hear me out. What if Joel was a part of the Sephiroths? What if Joel did something horrible to this woman?
That's true.
Right? I mean, I don't know. What if
he even? Yeah, you're right.
You know, I mean, what if like, you know, Joel, a part of the Sephiroths, this dark timeline that I'm creating, right? What if he does something unspeakable to this woman, and then she tries to seek revenge upon him, right? That was a loud gunshot in my neighborhood. Holy crap. Anyway,
what?
Yeah, there's a loud gunshot in my neighborhood. That's
a gunshot.
Yeah, like they out here playing factions.
Americans, man. No, I'm joking.
They out here playing factions in the middle of the street in Tempe. That's crazy. Anyway, so what if you know what? Let's say even step further. What if Joel didn't even do anything to this woman? What if Joel did something horrible to the two little kids? Right? I'm just saying, right? I don't think this, but perhaps, right? Perhaps it could be that insane, right? And what if she tried to take revenge for herself or for the two kids, you know, out on Joel, and then she got caught, and then this is her going to die for it.
That's interesting. That'd be very interesting.
I don't know.
Because there was even a discussion between Joel and his brother Tommy, in which he says to him, like Tommy is basically mad at Joel, sort of, you know, a brother argument. I have them all the time, and he was like, they were arguing, and Joel said, well, I protected you, I helped you all these areas, and he was like, by ruining other people's lives. That's what Tommy basically said, because they were hunters in the past, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah.
It was a clip that I watched like today. But yeah, so they definitely did some effed up things in the past, and it's clear just based off of the root, just based off of Joel's, I guess, violence, right? So,
right. Or an even darker timeline I just thought of, which I don't want this. This would be a bit odd to me. What if that baby that this unnamed character is pregnant with was a baby conceived through rape? And what if Joel raped her? And what if Ellie is Joel's daughter?
Oh, that would.
I don't like that, by the way. I don't like that. I don't want some cop out.
I would hate if that was the case, but oh my, that could totally.
Yeah, I would hate that, because it would totally undermine the reason of why Ellie and Joel are beautiful as like this, like,
right,
you know, not
unrelated.
Yeah, they're unrelated, but they're like a father and daughter type relationship there. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and like for Joel to do what he did at the end of Last of Us for someone that's not even his blood, but he sees but he may see as his blood, you know, in terms of how he acts and how he reacts to things. It would completely undermine that whole entire thing, and that would make Last of Us 1 look a bit tainted. You know, like it wouldn't be the same. But you know,
but then that, in a way, that would sort of explain why Joel, at first, in a way, just a little way, just a slight way, you know, just hypothetical, obviously, because I don't think this is definitely gonna be the root of the plot, but that would kind of explain why Joel was kind of, because maybe he does recognize this person as somebody, like, maybe, just a big maybe a big fat maybe, that, hey, I know this is the back of my head, I know this is the product of a person I raped, and and I don't want to take care of her. Maybe that could explain why he was so hesitant to begin with, and why he kind of had this dislike for Ellie, and then through their journey, he finds it in himself to not I guess to forgive himself, although he did a very pretty nasty thing, but to forgive himself and then love this product. Sorry, I'm calling Ellie a product. She's not a product. She's a human being, or a fictional human being. But you get the point, right?
Right. Yeah.
So maybe that's a big maybe. I don't think that that's the route, but that could totally be a shocker. That's for sure.
So like you think potentially that it could still be saved because it would be then construed that Joel was trying to in effect right his wrongs through caring for Ellie and through saving Ellie in a way, you know.
Yeah.
Like if Ellie was born out of, you know, Joel's sin, which I don't think is the case, but still, you know, just thought, right? So I mean, I guess we're both on board at the end of the day, saying that, you know, we are pretty comfortable and guessing that this unnamed lady in Paris Games Week trailer is Anna, the mother of Ellie.
Yes.
Who's the dad? Who is the dad?
A rapist, perhaps. I definitely think it's a rapist.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, like, I guess it doesn't have to be anyone that we know. Like, it could just be that Ellie was, yeah. I mean, perhaps. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, I definitely think. And I apologize because, to be honest with you, I've only played The Last of Us once. I corrected because I think I told you I played it twice on the PlayStation. I'm pretty sure I played it twice on the PS3. I didn't play it twice on the PlayStation 4.
Right,
so,
yeah.
But I kind of forget. But I mean, if you look back at some of the notes that Ellie gets from Ellie, from her mom, and take it as you will, like some people who, like some women in real life, you know, have unfortunately been through rape, and they decide not to do anything crazy like commit suicide or other options. Instead, they decide to have their child, who they didn't technically want, but obviously decided to carry out this child, and they realize they take it upon themselves to love this person despite not wanting the person to begin with, or their kid, and they find it in themselves to really love their kid and send them as much love and appreciation as they can. So maybe that's why, and I understand the setting, it's post-apocalyptic world, you know, any loving parent would send their kids letters and all these different informations and stuff, but maybe that's why, because she realized that she's guilty in a way to have Ellie in this world, perhaps because she could have prevented the rape, or maybe it wasn't, she just, you know, did stuff with another man, and he was an ass, and maybe they got into a fight, maybe she ended up killing him, who knows, right? But yeah, I think Ellie is a product of rape, honestly. I do. Yeah.
I mean, I'm perusing through Wikipedia, right? And yes. Ellie's dad is unnamed. So I think, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see. You know, do you think we will see Ellie's dad in part 2 if Anna is this woman, right? And the other timeline of the game is focusing on Anna, and you're playing as Anna, right? Do you think we'll see this of like how Ellie got conceived, and if it was a horrible rape?
Yes, but then okay, now yes, to answer your question, yes, but now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I don't think it's a rape. I don't think so. Because let's say this is Anna, let's say that Paris Games Week trailer was in fact a time in which Anna, Ellie's mom, was pregnant. Just her reaction of being scared that, one, she might die in that position, but also her child, who she's carrying in her, might die as well. And so you don't get that from a person who's been raped, like, obviously, because they feel they don't want the child. Like, not everyone who's been raped, unfortunately, or fortunately, sorry, but some people don't want their child after they've been raped, for obvious reasons, right? Right. And based off of her reaction, it seems like, no, I please don't kill me, and don't kill my daughter that I'm carrying, right? So perhaps maybe she found the love of her life, or she already had prior to the outbreak, and they decided to do things. Why, I don't know, since it's post-apocalyptic world. But
hey, listen, man, look, you gotta get it popping no matter what. Right?
I mean, yeah, you look at The Walking Dead with
invasion,
Rick's
absolutely
daughter.
Listen, you gotta get it popping, if I may. It don't matter what time it is, you know what I'm saying? But
I definitely think it's Ellie's mom.
Yeah. So I guess Do you have any ending thoughts on this whole topic? On any last thoughts on this woman? Well, what's your ending thesis, if I may?
Huh. I'm not too sure. Oh, I think actually I am sure. I think this is that Paris Games Week is gonna be a depiction, some kind of I guess physical I guess product of American dreams. The comic book in which Neil Druckmann made, I think that's the route they're gonna go. That's gonna be a flashback, sorry, of Ellie's mom, and she's gonna encounter this group of people. Maybe she was with the Firefly or a military group. She looks fit, so she has to be a part of some kind of military.
Right.
Based off of what the kid said, I think it was Lev. She didn't want to, or he didn't want to. She, one of the two, didn't want to cut down this person who we, I guess, agree is Ellie's mom, and the Yara. Yeah, Yara. She was like,
Lev,
cut her down, and she was like, no, she's one of them. So just by her saying she's one of them, we can automatically assume that this is a person associated to some kind of group, probably a military group, based off of her physical appearance. And obviously Marlene was also pretty buff, and she took a role in the first game as a Firefly, which I want to say the Fireflies is like the secondary military in a way, or I guess they're opposing forces, right? I think, but
I'm not.
They kind of resemble each other because they have armor. I'm pretty sure they have guns and weapons. They have a lot. The Fireflies and the military. So yeah.
Right. I mean, I think the evidence at hand here, everything that we've discussed today, I think it makes logical sense based off the evidence that we've gotten that this unnamed character is indeed Anna and is indeed Ellie's mom. And I think I also believe as well that the second timeline that Neil Druckmann was referring to will involve Anna's timeline. I think those all pretty check out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But who knows? But any last things that the people could find you? I don't know. I messed up that whole thing. Where can the people find you, Starks? Where can the old people find you?
If you're still watching, I want to say thanks, and remember to leave your thoughts and opinions and theories in the comment section below. But you can you can find me on YouTube / the Starks, I guess, as well as Twitter, because I always post updates on there. And yeah, how about you?
Deal. You can find me here, of course, on youtube.com/PlayStationSource, as well as my Twitter down below. Well, I'm probably not down below, but my Twitter, my personal one, is at the KDIAZ123, THEKDIAZ123, or of course you can follow the Twitter that's linked down below, as well as our Discord channel. And if you're looking to get any of our long form content on this channel in podcast format, we are live on podcast services. Make sure to go check out the link below where you can find our direct links to our podcast feed across all other services. So we'll be back next week with another great conversation about Last of Us Part 2. And I think, you know what? I wanted to do something a little bit new for the outro. All right. When do you think we'll hear about Last of Us Part 2? It's been over a year.
110,000% sure we are going to see some kind of tease or announcement or trailer at the 6th year, or I guess 6th year outbreak date, or whatever, the outbreak date on September, whatever day it's on.
So
September.
Now, do you think that's the next time we'll hear anything? Like
in terms of job postings, or
no,
like,
I mean of like any shred of info about Last of Us Part 2. Do you think we won't hear?
Absolutely not. There's been so much, dude.
Okay.
So
when do you think the next time we'll hear it? When's the next time, like, you think? Because I have the calendar out. I'm about to make a bet.
Really, a bet?
I'll bet.
Oh, you know what? I think I know what you're doing. Wait, no, Mother's Day already passed. Never mind. I don't know. July. When's American Day or Independence Day? 4th? Yeah, July 4th.
Ooh, that's an interesting date. So so you think July 4th?
Yes, sir.
Mine's gonna be a little bit loosey goosey, but I'm sure you will let it slide.
All right.
Well, wait. Do you want a solid date out of me, or do you want like because I have a time frame. Like,
Okay.
I do not think that we will not hear anything that isn't before August. So
Yeah, somebody else said that.
in other words, I feel like August will not come without us knowing any or seeing it or seeing anything new out of Last of Us Part 2. I do not think we will hit August. I can see us getting through June just fine, but July, I don't.
I have a question.
Yes,
What month does The Last of Us end off? It was fall, right? Or not month, but season.
It was a
Fall,
year.
right?
It was a year because you go to all seasons.
It was a year, really?
Yeah. Last of Us takes over the course of a year. I think it's spring.
Because I was gonna say if it's like, because I thought they did months, so if it was months, I would be like, oh, July.
Yeah.
Or August or whatever.
No.
Yeah. So never mind.
But all right, yours is July 4th, which I think is a great bet. Honestly, I'm gonna say sometime before August. We'll see.
Okay.
But thank you all for watching. Make sure to go check out Stark's link down below and catch us next week on Road to Part 2. Thank you for watching. And as always,
Greatness awaits.
yeah.